I'm Bill Gross. This is the Los Angeles County Real Estate Investment Association, formerly LAREIC. You can still find the website there, LAREIC.com. This is the official podcast for Lloyd Siegel's Los Angeles area real estate investing organization. We get together every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, all times in between, to talk about all things real estate, and particularly focused on for the first-time investor or people who want to work with first-time investors, learning how to make money and make more income. So I asked in the beginning, before we started the recording, who here on this phone call either wants to make more income or increase their wealth? Say either raise your hand or put me in the chat box. Julia's hand's up big. Julia, I get it. You're on it. You're going to get it. And here's what I want to tell you. The more you respond, the more I see Versi's hands up. Great. Zoom user, whoever you are. Your hands up. Shanae's hands up. Very good. I see some hands up. Versi. Very good. Okay. Here's what I tell you guys. This is just a rule in life. The more you participate, Renee Ortiz says yes. Very good. The more you participate, the more you do, the more you make. If you're not making enough money or you don't have enough wealth, I'm going to suggest you haven't been participating with enough intensity and helping enough other people to get what you want. And I'm here to help you with that. Now, I'm not a guru. I'm a real estate broker. I'm in the business. I'm a practitioner of what I'm going to teach you guys today. I'm going to share with you things I do today to make money and build my business. I make a really good income. I have a lot of money put away, thank God. I want more. I'm not all that, but I'm working towards it. And I'm having fun doing it. I'm not working too much. I'm working a reasonable amount. I'm married, I have a grandkid, involved my family. I want the same for you. I just reread a book from one of my favorite authors of all time, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I'd read his book, The Capitalist Manifesto. And both of them remind me how contrary it is for you guys to be here to look to make more money. And those of you watching this on the live stream. The rest of the world says, oh, find the easy path. Google search the easy way to make $1 million. Cryptocurrency or this or that. And look, there's a legitimate business in cryptocurrency. I don't mean to put it down. But there's no easy way to make money in anything. Anybody who's built wealth over time has worked at it and worked at it and worked on it and learned to appreciate that process. Learn to love the process. So that's what I'm going to teach you is what I do. Not something I'm going to tell you to do because I don't want to. I'm not selling a coaching program to you because I'm too lazy to sell. I sell every day. I'm going to share with you guys a very important tool that I think is cutting edge. It's a niche that I don't think is very well populated, that's being hidden. I'll explain to you why. That you can literally use and make money this week or next week. Now, if you're up for that, say aye. If you're up for can I just sit here and watch TV and get paid by drop shipping Amazon by clicking a mouse? Can't help you with that. This is for real though. So what I want to tell you is I've been in real estate since 1986, since most of you were born. There has never been a better time to make money than right now, ever in my career. Now I didn't say an easier time to make money, did I? I said better time. And I'll tell you why, I'll back it up. Number one, there's never been more cash floating around for you to take advantage and you to use for your business than ever before. Never been as much. You can literally find a property and find somebody, me or somebody else with money, within an hour. That was not the case when I started 10, 15, 20, 36 years ago. That was not the case then. You had to work hard to find the money. It was hard to get people to advance your money on anything, on flips or properties. Today, there's money coming out of the work. I literally get emails every day. I get calls every day from lenders looking to lend money to my customers. Literally several every single day. The problem is most lenders are selling fire hoses, and what you really need is a small little squeezer thing. I don't even know what you call them in the kitchen. But we need a fine-tooth targeting thing, not a big broad thing. And so you who are starting out or you who are relaunching, like I did 3.5 years ago, I was 60 years old. I had to relaunch my career. I had no debt. I had no real equity. And I was facing retirement with nothing. And 3.5 years later, I got money in the bank. I have passive income to support my lifestyle. I want to make more and put more money away. But it can be done, and it's easier now than when I did it 3.5 years ago. And I'm going to show you one of the tools that helped me get there. And a tool that I use every day. I'm not telling you to use it. I'm saying let's use it together. Let's work together and make some money together. Let's hold hands and walk together on the process. Never been easier. There's more money than ever before. Number 2 reason why, best time ever in real estate, ever, more uncertainty. Google search housing crash. Google search housing crisis. There's words I never even heard of. We have a housing recession. I never heard of such a thing in my entire career. I took economics in college. I took micro and macro, introductory and intermediate, 4 classes. Never heard of the term housing recession. We're in one, apparently. More uncertainty, more fear. Don't you feel the tension in most people? Now, you got to step back and rise above it. You got to get off the TV. You got to get off the Netflix. You got to pull that pacifier out of your mouth, that everything's just plugging in and zone out. And look at the world around you. But everybody around us is scared, true or true, nervous, worried. They're going to lose their jobs. Their house will go down in value. Uncertainty is when money is made in this business. It's having a certain path. I'm not telling you need to know that everything is going to be good for everybody. I'm not saying that. That's called Pollyannish. What I'm saying is you have a certainty that you know what you can do and you can get a certain outcome, and that will produce for you income and for your clients' results. That's the certainty you need. The certainty from here to here. You don't need the whole thing. You need from here to here. And if you have that right now more than ever, people appreciate certainty. They appreciate reality. They appreciate authenticity. And for years, we've been following image and watching people walking onto private jets who weren't worth a nickel. And today it's coming home to roost. I'm going to show you a simple way you can make money this week, next week. Okay? So what I'm going to talk about today, normally on this call, I have a guest, talks about different real estate investment. Today, I'm the guest. I have a program that I've launched. It's called GetProbate.cash. That's the version really for real estate agents. If you're a real estate agent, that's tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. And you also can replay. If you register for it, you'll get a replay automatically. All of you are welcome to jump on the call if you're interested. But really, this is a tool that involves 4 different groups of people that if you're any of these 4 people, you can use it to make more income and more wealth. If you're a real estate investor or wholesaler, a real estate agent, an attorney that deals in probate, or a family in probate, an executor, administrator, or heir. If you're any of those 4 people, I'm going to teach you a tool. Now, there's a name for this that I love. I didn't invent it. One of my mentors, Pace Morby. Who here besides me has seen Pace Morby on YouTube or some other social media? Shanae, very good. Pace Morby, his name is spelled P-A-C-E, like the pace, and Morby, M-R-B-Y. He calls this Gator Lending or Gator Wrestling. Now, I've been doing this on my own occasionally, and I learned this business on my own. And one day I saw him do a couple hours on this topic. And he's the only person I've ever heard talk about it in a way as a practitioner, not as a provider of the service, not as a user of the service, but a practitioner using that product. What does he mean? So he says a gator lender, if you think of all the animals in the world, a gator is a very difficult animal to catch. It's big, it's strong, it's quick. It's not fast, but they're quick. They can outrun humans for about 20 yards. So you think about gator wrestling as grabbing something that's difficult and wrestling it. So he calls that when you find somebody who has a difficult need and you get them money, you lend them money, but you don't lend them. If you arrange the financing, that's gator wrestling. But if you actually lend them money, that's called gator lending. So I'm a gator lender. I lend money to people in a particular situation that's difficult. They inherit a property. They have no cash, but they need some money to get started. Or an investor finds a property from somebody who is inheriting it and neither have the money to start and pay for the legal fees to handle the probate. That's gator lending or gator wrestling. What I'm going to offer you is the opportunity. Now, he offers a fantastic training program. I think it's about $9,000. He has an amazing network. I would recommend you watch his YouTube channel and watch as much of his stuff for free as you can. And if you like it and want to participate, sign up for it. I think it's great. But I'm going to give you one little tool that he teaches that I've used and that I've taken to the next level. I believe I now understand the industry better than anybody other than those people in the business on how to be a Gator lender or Gator wrestler. So what is it? When there are people who pass, I want to call them decedents. They died. Be grandma, grandpa, mom, dad. Somebody, let's just say commonly a son or daughter, the children, stand to inherit the property. They're called the heirs. So if mom and dad have the property, the title of the property is held in mom and dad's name, Mr. and Mrs. Bob and Mary Jones. And when Bob passes away, Mary's the widow, she stays in the property. And if she doesn't change title, it's in her name. When Mary passes, mom and dad pass, if there's no other marriages or any other family members, the next level is the children. It would normally, I'm not giving legal advice, I'm giving you a scenario from a business point of view, but generally that's what happens. So when the child inherits the property, in most states, in California, for example, you can't do anything with it because the property is titled still in mom and dad's name. So you could be the only child, only son or only daughter, and you know that you're going to end up with the property legally. There's no other heirs, there's no other creditors, it's your property. Mom and dad told you they want you to have it. They even could give you a will, because a will does not get out of probate. A will is something you take in probate and the court effectuates. That's the biggest misconception about probate, is that a will avoids probate. Not true in most states. In most states, a will is effectuated or executed in probate court. So if you're the son or daughter, you have to file probate, take your will to the judge and say, Judge, either my parents died with a will, here it is, or they died without a will, I'm the only son. There's a process to verify that, or I'm the only daughter. And at the end of maybe a year, the court says, fine, it's yours. And they say, this property 123 Main Street that was in mom and dad's name is now in your name. And now you can sell it a year later. And the other challenge to that is, it's a complicated process that normally people hire attorneys for. And the state of California limits how much you can charge for probate. On $1 million property, it can't be more than $23,000. It can be less, but there are many attorneys who want to charge the statutory amount of $23,000. That's a lot of money, especially if you don't have any cash. If mom and dad pass and don't leave a life insurance policy or cash or stocks, and the only money is in the equity, and this is where it's most common. You have a property that's in mom and dad's name, you can't change it until you sell the property, but you can't sell it until you change the title. Do you see how you're stuck? Okay, real quick. If you're following me so far, put yes. And if not, put no and ask a question. I want you to understand the scenario. If you're a wholesaler or investor and you talk to people and they may say, hey, I'm the son, my parents passed, this is our house. And you check title, you want to see if mom and dad are still in title. If either one are, then problem has to be solved. And if you solve the problem, that's how we get paid. And here's a key thing I want you to understand. You're not going to hear this from any other real estate coach, I don't think. Most people look for the easy way to make money. Here's what I tell you. We get paid in real estate, whether you're an investor, a wholesaler, an agent, a broker, a salesman, whatever you are, we get paid to solve other people's problems. And so when you meet somebody who lives in a property that's deeded in their parents' name still, and both parents passed, whether he has a will or not, he has a problem. What's his problem? His problem is the property's name of his parents, not him. And so the opportunity is to lend them money, that's a Gator lender, or arrange for them to borrow money or advance money. It's not really a loan. And that's one of the key terms here. There's no loan involved. It's an advance on what's there. So it's not really Gator lending. Technically, it's Gator advance, to be specific. So what happens is now you have somebody who has an asset that they can't access, but I own a company where we advance people money in those situations. And we help them get into probate to sell the property. And if you're an investor or wholesaler, sometimes you can flip the property or buy the property. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes the court process is so detailed, the only money you'll make is on the advance. But here's what I can tell you. On a minimum $10,000 advance, which is most common, minimum $10,000, not only will you help unlock and solve the customer's problem, not only may you find a listing or a sale or a flip or a wholesale contract, but you get $500. And so two things I want to say about that. Number one, I call that paid lead generation. Now, I did this year about $2,000, $3,000 of this kind of business. Last year, about $2,000 or $3,000. It's not life-changing money for me, but it's enough extra money that I put in my business and help me pay for some of my marketing. And what I realized was if I could help some of you learn how to do this, you could do this full-time. I list houses full-time. I call attorneys and sellers to list houses. I don't sell this product. But for some of you who don't have a real estate license, either A, you'll stumble on these deals, bring them to me, I can get you paid, or B, some of you who don't have the money to get started can do this. I'll talk about how you can do it. We can do this together and you can make money. And what I want to tell you is based on my experience with this, you make about $30 an hour telemarketing this business while generating some real estate leads. Now, $3 an hour is not all that money. Maybe you can't quit your day job on that. But if you did 4 hours a day and made $30 an hour, 20 hours a week at $30 is $600 a week as a part-time gig. You can do it when you want. You can call people when you want to call them. So what I want to say is this is an opportunity to help people and advance money to them and generate leads for you, what I call paid lead generation. Now, it can be misused because you're advancing people's inheritance who maybe aren't used to handling money. And so what I would say to you is check your own heart. I know where I come from. I want to help. I've helped people who otherwise would be broke get some money to clear out a squatter, to hire great attorneys, to get the probate done, to get them paid, to get some life-changing money. I've done it. And I've not given money to people on purpose to misuse or help them misuse it. I don't spend the money for them. I treat them as adults. I treat them with respect. But it can be misused, and just know that. And there's some people who have some negative ideas about it. But I'm going to tell you, personally, I've used this 4 or 5 times a year the last 2 years and helped change families' destinies by helping them with this. Now, how does it work? So what has to happen is you have to find somebody who needs an advance. So I'm presuming if you're an investor wholesaler, you're dialing for dollars, you're driving for dollars, you're door knocking, you're doing something, you're online checking for leads of people who want to sell a property. You could get a list of families who filed probate, which means that either they or their attorney has started the process, and this data will have phone numbers. Some are good, some are bad, like all phone numbers. But you simply could call them and say, hey, I see you filed a probate, and you list as petitioner. I was just calling to see if you'd be interested in an advance on your probate of about $10,000. Simple process, simple phone call. For a lot of you, the reason you don't get started in sales as an investor, wholesaler, or agent is the sales process is too complicated. And here what I'll say to you is this process, all you're doing is if they're interested, either you fill out the information on a form I would give you, and then you book an appointment for me to talk to them. And if they buy the $10,000 advance, you get $500. Simple as that. Now, what happens is I give people who I work with, you don't have to work with me, you do it on your own. People I work with, I give you an affiliate link and you fill in the required information, an appointment link, and you make an appointment for them to talk to me, and you can include yourself in or not. It could be a Zoom call, it could be a phone call, however they want to do it. So that's the process. Now, there are companies that do this, probate advance companies. My experience is they're not as aggressive or customer service oriented as I am. I'm a real estate broker. I'm chasing $20,000, $30,000 checks. Their office staff gets paid a salary and maybe a bonus. So of course I'm hunting that deal harder than they are. And what I found was they would find a problem with the deal and just tell the customer, sorry, you're declined. And I would say, why they declined? Blah, blah, blah. I can fix that. I would take it to a different advance firm as a result. As a result, I got them the money they wanted and I got paid and I got my listing. So rather than just rely on a vendor, which I used to do, today, I just created my own. And I work with some of the other companies. but I also am presenting this to my customers, my attorneys, my investors, and you guys. If you want to participate, love to have you come along. Questions so far? I see the Landlord Advocate. Is that James? Dude. How do you reach out to me? Thank you for doing this every Tuesday. So my contact, I'm Bill Gross. I'll put my contact info in the chat box. My phone number is 310-210-0008. I'm on social media at Bill Gross EXP. I'm on YouTube. And I host this call every week at Zoom, real estate investing, zoom.com. And I'll put my email in, DHE. LA. I'm also at the LAProbateexpert.com is my website. So all that's going to be in the chat box. Thank you for asking, Mary. So we're going to continue. I don't see any questions in here. Thank you. Very nice. Thank you. Any questions so far? So, and what would happen is you would send me a lead. My staff and I would pre-qualify it and come back and say, we got them approved, $10,000, $20,000. Normally, they don't have an attorney yet. And that's the other part where I get involved is many people will shop for the attorney when they really need the money, or shop for the money when they need an attorney, and we'll do both. Meaning, I'll look at the case and decide, and again, pre-approved, who the best attorney for that case is. Sometimes it's a cheaper self-help type attorney. Sometimes it's more involved. They need more professional litigator and such. I work with all of them. I've done 40, 50 cases here in Los Angeles in the last few years with different attorneys. So that's how it works. So 3, why use professional rather than a company directly? Just like mortgage brokers, you go to one mortgage broker and he can submit your loan to multiple lenders. My company can submit your package to multiple probate advance companies. That's the advantage we offer. Now here's a question. Why have you not heard about this business? I'm just curious. Has anybody on this call ever heard before about probate advance or inheritance advance work? Anybody? Shanae has, and James has. Okay. So, Shanae, do you hear about it through Pace Morby?
Actually, I think I was on one of a call that you were doing, and okay. I picked up on it. And I do wholesaling. Nice. So, and then I studied real estate. So I was I'm actually going through a similar situation right now with probate. So everything that you're talking about, like the best way, like that I found out is like going through the actual experience yourself, because you learn all the little errors.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I remember, that's right. We talked at the beginning of the year, I think. I think we talked.
Yeah.
I will get too personal with you. Yeah. I got it. I remember who you are now. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I don't know what you want me to say about you, so I don't want to violate your privacy, but yeah. So this is something I've been working with for a while. What's fascinating about this is, so why would you use maybe multiple options? Why have you not heard more about this? Shanae heard about because she was a practitioner on her own. James has because he's in the industry. Most people haven't. Pace Morby is one of the few people talk about it. Chad Corbett on the Probate Mastery Program has brought in Probate Cash, which is a very good vendor, very reputable. Mark Harris and his team do a really good job. They're the only ones that I know talk about this publicly. Most of the other companies keep it private. And I'll just tell you why, because number one, a lot of this is abused. There are attorneys who will get people money who shouldn't have it just to write the case, just to run up the fees. It becomes a mess. That happens. And people misspend the money. That's like payday loans. People misspend that too. That's a problem that we don't want to condone as a community or as a state. It's also true that these companies are scared of being sued. There was a time when there was a law professor who was writing articles about this business. And he wrote several, and I read them. I've downloaded them and read them. And it got in Consumer Reports. And that was about 2-3 years ago. But it kind of died down because he was trying to get the state to come down on this industry, when in reality, while it's true it's abused like a lot of things, it's also a great tool. It's a fantastic tool. And so I think the industry, the companies are scared. In my experience, I'll give you an example. For this program I've launched, I try to identify every single company that does this kind of advance. I've identified 28. About 4 or 5 are out of business. All the rest I've emailed and or called. None of them responded but one, Probate Cash. The other ones are all like, I'm calling saying, I'd like to interview you. I'm going to put you on my YouTube channel. I'm going to share you with investors. I'm going to share you with real estate agents I work with. I'll share with attorneys I work with. Nothing. They have their business. They do Facebook ads, Google ads. They want to be anonymous, stay off the radar. It's like they're not proud of the work they do. I did interview another one from the Los Angeles area about a year ago, but it's just very difficult to get them to talk about their business. I don't even know why. It's just the challenge of the business, I guess. But what I tell you is that anytime you see a lack of competition, that's where there's opportunity for you as a business person. So there's 4 modules, depending on who you are in the business. And all 4 modules are either for you or one of those 4, and then for you to learn the other 3 to teach to your prospective referral partners. What do I mean by that? The 4 modules I mentioned are investor wholesaler, realtor, attorney, and family, petitioner, executor, administrator. But if you're one of those, you might want to talk to the other 3 and help them understand how this works. If you're an attorney, you should be teaching investor wholesalers how to work this business to bring you leads. I know one that does that in Arizona, Riley Dana. He had me on to talk about it, actually. If you are a real estate agent, you should be teaching your attorneys how to use the product. You should be working with your families on this product, and do what I do, which is work with investors and teach them, hey, here's the data, here's a quick script, here's some help, let's make some money together. And that's what I'm inviting you to do. If you're looking to create some income for yourself, short-term income, and want to put some work into it, that's what I'm here to help you with. So it's 4 modules: the realtor, the attorney, the investor wholesaler, and the real estate agent. I want to talk a little bit about the investor format. There's 2 different ways that works. One is what I call directly prospecting for this business, which is work with a real estate agent who has a list of data of probate, call the petitioners, and it's just a simple question. You could cold call attorneys. You're going to get a lot of rejection. If you find a good one, you might get lucky. But basically, it's just a simple phone call. I work in the probate advance space. We help families. We help attorneys like you advance funds for your clients in probate. Would you be interested in a quick 7-day or less advance of $10,000 or more? If they're not interested, they're not interested. If they are, they're going to go, well, tell me about it. What's the rates? What's the details? You're just looking for those who are interested. That's what all telemarketing is. So you can literally, there are people who send out mail on this. There are people who do Facebook ads. You can do that. That's more advanced. But all that's to do is generate leads. You have to learn how to talk to people. So if you start on the phone, you can add those others and build a business around it if you want to. But you're also going to build a business of real estate because you're talking to people who have real estate to sell. And so they might not win in advance, but they might have a house to sell. And if you're an investor, wholesaler, that's what you're looking for, is to talk to sellers of property. And then the other way you might want to learn about this as a investor wholesaler is what I would call kind of ancillary or accidental. That's me. I talk to a lot of attorneys, a lot of families. Once in a while, one has a problem. They need money to pay for legal fees. They need money to pay for something. I say, hey, I got this program. I could advance you $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. I can get it done in 7 days or less. And we can solve the problem. And I do that as an incidental. And as a result of that, I make about $2,000, $3,000 a year doing those kinds of deals. So that's how it works for investor wholesalers. Now, for realtors, I'm going to go over a little more depth tomorrow for the real estate module and the attorney module. And for realtors or attorneys, I'm going to offer you the ability to join a mastermind with me. That costs money. It costs $249 for 4 weeks, where I go into detail on these 4 modules. If you're an investor wholesaler, you can do this for free. If you're in Southern California, in LA, or in San Bernardino, Riverside, or San Diego, I'd be glad to talk to you about being on my team, doing some telemarketing on this product. I can get you the data. I can give you some basic scripting. I can give you the forms to intake and the form to set an appointment with me. And you would contact them and offer this product with the goal of averaging $30 per hour or more on the revenue you make. Literally, if you call them, they say yes. It's about a week or 2 to put it together. We say 7 days or less. It could be done in 2 days. But literally 7-10 days, money's advanced, you're going to get a check within 10 days for minimum $500 on a $10,000 advance. So if you're interested in that and you're an investor, reach out to me. I put my contact info in the chat box. I'll put it in again. And I'd love to talk to you about working together, because whatever you're doing now to generate business, this could be add on to it. Or if you're looking for a way to get started, put in 20 hours, give it a shot. See if you can't generate some business. See if you can't generate one deal in 20 hours. Put in 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. See if you can't get one. I promise you'll get one deal. I'm sure of it if you actually work 20 hours in a week. And you can do it regularly. And you do a couple of them and then use that to launch your business. Okay, so that's the opportunity. If you're a real estate agent, feel free to join tomorrow, or you can join the mastermind itself. And just so you know, that's a 4 weekly session program, $249, because I've laid out some money for some of this. And I also want people, I know that when you pay attention. So at least want to get a little bit of attention. And part of that, you'll get an affiliate link. You'll be approved. If you take the mastermind, you'll be approved to do your own loans. You get your own affiliate link and your own lead sheet. And if you're just an investor with me, I'll provide you an a lead sheet for my business, as well as a lead for my calendar. And if you later want to do it on your own, that's fine too. Okay, I've done all the talking, or most talking so far today. Questions? I've only heard getting leads in probate from motivated. I heard of getting leads in probate from motivated sellers. Look, I want to say most cases, 80% of probates filed have real estate. Most cases, people want to sell the real estate. And here's what I can tell you. If they don't want to sell it right away, all sellers eventually sell. They're probably going to sell at some point. No guarantees. Average is about 2 years from filing. But again, the advance, you get paid right away. As soon as the advance is issued to the customer, they get their money, you get your check within maybe 10 days. Okay, from Julia. My family inherited a property in Nevada. I want to learn how to either remodel or sell it. So I'm going to just remember doing slight remodels, Airbnb the property to build long-term finances. There's about 3 questions in that question, Julia. If you want to unmute yourself, I'd be glad to walk you through it. But what I would say is, for the last 2-3 years, anybody who remodeled any property looked like a genius and made money. And what I want to tell you is it's harder than it looks. And I do not recommend first-time investors to remodel, to fix and flip a property. What I will say is you're best to sell it as is if you can clean it up. So it can be walked nicely, cleanly, cleared out better, smells nice, and take some good pictures. The money you spend generally will not increase the value of the property unless you're a professional buying at wholesale prices and your cost to do improvements are wholesale. If you're paying retail, if you're going to Home Depot or Lowe's and doing it yourself, you will not make enough money, in my experience, in a normal market to get a profit for it. And I believe statistics back that up. If you go to remodelingmagazine.com, it will list in your region projects and what % of the dollar you get back. And generally, it's less than $1 for every dollar you invest. The other question is Airbnb the property. Different question. I don't know about your market area specifically in Nevada, but I can imagine some properties are great for Airbnb. Of course, that's a whole business. So what I would do is I'd find people who are in the Airbnb business and try to learn from them. If you want to start with this property, it's a great way to start. But I can just tell you, Airbnb, it sounds easy. It's not. It's a business. You got to work it. You got to learn the shortcomings, the pitfalls, the challenges, the good vendors. But you can I know people do really well with that, but it's a business you have to learn. How do we join or reach out to you? So Mary asked that. So if you want to reach out to me directly, feel free. You can text me if you're interested, if you're an investor and want to get involved in this program, Get Probate Cash, Get probate.cash. My own program, I forget the name. Feel free, text me, 310-210-0008, or email me, bill@thelaprobateexpert.com, or put in the chat box your contact info. Alejandra asks, I don't know if you're on, Alejandra, if you want to unmute yourself. House can't be sold till it gets transferred. I thought you could sell it. If you found the buyer, the attorney would petition the court to sell, but you don't receive the proceeds till the probate period was over. Is that wrong? So again, a couple different questions there. You can sell the property during probate, and then I think you're right in that the money, the proceeds of the sale, stay in the probate estate until the probate's finished, which could be a year, 2 years, or longer, depending how long that takes. So you can sell the property, but if you use an attorney who knows what he's doing, it can move much more quickly. You can advance some of the money up front. I'll give you an example. I have a case today with a really large commission check waiting on it for me. And the attorney didn't file a certain form for 4 weeks. I was following him up every day or two. He was busy. Filed it last week. I checked, my staff checks twice a day, all our filings. Found out it was declined because it was filed incorrectly. So we have these delays now. We're now 5 weeks plus waiting where we could have closed escrow already. And so what happens is if the attorney doesn't really know what they're doing, they make these kind of mistakes. What I would call rookie mistakes. My job is to stay on top of them and push them to get it done. So I think information is correct, basically. You can't transfer title without the probate. Transfers title in probate, you can do the sale, but the proceeds won't go out until the probate's completed. Where do you find probate leads? So I use services I subscribe to. Sergio, I'll know where you are located, but if you're in what you do, if you're an investor or wholesaler and want a cold call for me, I can talk to you about using some data that I have here in Los Angeles. Okay. And Sergio, are you an agent, investor, wholesaler? What do you do?
I'm just starting out, so investor.
Okay. And Sergio's a wholesaler. So if you're a wholesaler, you want to work together with me, let's talk. I'd be glad to give the data for free and some help, and we can generate some leads together. If you want to get paid the commission, that's fine. And Joe, you're an investor. So investing, you invest either time or money. And you got to find deals. This is a way to help you find deals. This is what I call paid lead generation. If you said to me, well, Bill, how do I find a property to fix and flip? Or how do I find a property to Airbnb? Or how do I find a property to whatever? I'd say you have to talk to a lot of people. Somebody, if you talk to them, who has a property they've inherited, but they can't sell because of title, that's a probate. And if you get to if you can solve their problem with some cash in advance, that's a probate advance. That's what we're talking about. Does that make sense, Julia? So when you say you're an investor, is this what you do all day? Do you have another job and it's the part-time gig for you? Where are you in the real estate business?
No, I'm just starting out. So I want to learning about it. I'm a nurse though, registered nurse.
Okay, so you have a full-time 9 to 5. And on the side, you can do some of this. So I'd say if you wanted to put some time, invest some time into making phone calls, be glad to talk to you about that as a part-time gig to make some additional money. And then there are people who make, you get 1 or 2 flips. That's more money you make as a nurse in a year, maybe. Maybe makes sense for you to leave. Maybe you love nursing, you want to invest on the side. That's great too. So be glad to help you with that. But we can talk about that on the side, okay? I'll give you guys a link if you're interested in calling me and doing a one-on-one. If you're on this call only, I'm going to put a link in the chat box, my calendar link, and you can set up an appointment. We can do a Zoom call for 15 minutes, and I can help you figure out what your goals are and what your plans are. Okay? Good. Other questions? Hey, Jack Lapidus. My favorite Giants fan. I don't think I know any other Giants fans. I think I've disowned all the other ones. Any other questions on this? Was this helpful?
I'm working my way up to that.
Was this helpful? Those who were here the whole time? Did you learn something today? Yeah? So I'd love to work with you if you want to get started on this again, Pace Morby's term is Gator Lending. And I get why he says that. Legally, it's not a loan, it's an advance. Lending is a way to kind of explain what it is, but really you're advancing the person money and they're going to, Jack, what we're talking about is in probate, I'm sure you know about litigation financing where companies will advance attorneys or clients money against expected returns on a case. In probate, there's a special niche of that, probate advance or inheritance advance. And so it's sharing with investors how they can use that to build their business. Good. Any other questions? Not seeing any. No? Come on. I talked a lot. So again, if you're a real estate agent, Julia, so you unmute yourself.
Yeah, I was wondering, would it be a good idea to go to like the courthouse and like in your area to like find newly sold properties and trying to just like get people who have bought property cash? Or what would you think the best first step is?
So where do you live? What city?
LA County.
Yeah, so I live in LA too, and that's how I started. I used to go to court every day from 7:45 to 10:45. I used to host a meetup and introduce people to the courthouse and what's going on. The problem now with COVID is twofold. One, where you can go is restricted, and two, there's a lot less people. So there's a lot less to see. It's more online. So if you're interested in LA County properties for sale and probate, or if you're interested in probate cases to call, and I actually have that data, I can help you with that. In other counties, I don't have as much to offer, but specifically in LA County, I have a list of every probate case and phone numbers of the petitioners and the attorneys I can help you with, as well as all the properties are for sale in LA County probate. I have that list as well. Okay, thanks. Okay, other questions? Let's see here. What do you think about marketing to notice a trustee sells this market? So Victor, when you, what county do you live in, Victor?
I live in LA County.
LA. So I can't figure out how to make money on trustee sales. One problem is so many of them get delayed. You'll see if you go to auction.com, there'll be like 30 properties scheduled for a certain day. There'll be 70, then there's 30. And then on the day you have all but one or two will cancel. And the problem is there's a whole series of legal issues. And the state of California passed some laws during COVID that are now the new laws going forward that make it almost impossible to foreclose on people effectively if you're a lender. And then the other part is it's almost impossible to kick out a tenant if you get a squatter in there. Not saying it's possible. It's possible. It's just a lot of work and it's expensive. You might say, well, how can that be? It's your house. Can't you just tell them to leave? Can't you call the sheriffs and lock them out? Well, short answer, probably not. You need some professional help. So to answer your question, I don't know. I see a lot of activity in trustee sales. I see them scheduled. I see some go to sale, but I haven't figured out how to make money at it yet. I'm certainly interested in it, but I don't know any right now. Alejandro says you can also find probate properties on foreclosure.com. Yes, but you have to pay for those leads. Okay, there you go. Another option, foreclosure.com. And Mary says she's a new real estate agent and investor in Orange County. Well, welcome. I grew up in Orange County. I grew up in La Habra. James, I'd love to talk to you anytime, man, about adverse possession, especially. Man, do I want to talk about that. And then Jimmy says, go to the seller. Yeah, I think if you go to the seller, driving for dollars, probate's a great way to do that. And Mary wants to learn both sides, investing and agent. Good, love to, Mary. Love to help you with that and be part of the teaching along the way. So I think that covered all the questions. Oh, here's a good question. James, stand by. Can you evict a non-rent paying occupant whose lease has already ended in a single family home if the new purchaser intends to occupy the home as a primary residence? So just to clarify a couple facts, Raina, are we talking about in LA City, LA County, California, or somewhere else? So I'll give you a quick overview. James, if you want to jump in, is in LA City, Venice. So yeah, Venice is an area of LA City. Technically, there's no city of Venice. It's the city of Los Angeles. It's the Venice area, Venice mailing area. So you are now subject to any restrictions in the city of Los Angeles, rent stabilization ordinance, RSO, otherwise known as rent control, any LA County restrictions, any state of LA restrictions, and any federal restrictions. So can you evict a and also when you say non-paying rent whose lease ended, generally leases convert to a month to month. Generally speaking, everyone I've ever seen says at the end of the term, you can stay month to month or maybe month to month with a penalty amount or something, but they generally don't end. They almost all have some sort of if it gets to the end, there's a new payment factor that you can pay to stay there. It might be expensive. So the question he asks is, can you evict somebody? Yeah, James, tell us. It's just as easy as you walk up to the door, you knock, you tell them they have to leave, and then they quietly get their things, they walk out, and they say thank you. Is that how it works?
No, I wish it was easy. No, right now you can't do any evictions if you're trying to take possession of the property. The key is to get them on nuisance violations. Even if they're not paying rent, you're pretty much stuck until July of next year. So the key would be to create a nuisance violation. That's where you hire us for one, but you would hire either a private investigator or someone to build a case and then give it to an attorney. Because if you just give an attorney the case, they just cookie cutter it. So you're going to be in court for who knows, a year, maybe longer. But building the case that's your ticket, because now you can get them on a nuisance violation. So I knocked on the door, they don't give me access. That's a nuisance violation. There's parties going on, neighbors complaining. They have a Rottweiler in the front. They won't give you access to the front door. That's a nuisance violation. The key is to build the case, and then you can take them to court. And you may still have to pay them because they're going to run to legal aid. But, you know, at the end of the day, you still get your possession. Unfortunately, you still have to pay. That's just the way the game is right now.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that generally speaking, if you live in a single family home, they're not covered by rent control in the city of Los Angeles as a general rule, regardless of when they're built. And the people who don't pay rent, it's almost impossible to evict them. Now, James happens to have a business called the Landlord Advocates. I've used this company, and there's 2 commission checks I deposited and got paid on, where he and his firm was able to represent my landlord, my client, and we removed people who were complete deadbeats, just the scum of the earth people. And I think that, I'm sorry?
Still have the pictures and the videos.
And I think that sometimes people say, well, you know, don't you have any sympathy for them? See, my client is on the other end of the deal. One of my clients that James helped with, she is in a senior care facility, not the kind that you pay and go to when you want to, but the kind when you have no money that the county runs in Philadelphia. So here's this woman who owned outright, basically, this, which should have been a $600,000 house. And she's kind of getting strong-armed in accepting less than $400,000 because this deadbeat was living in her house. And it would cost a lot of money to clean up the house. Turns out, once James was able to help us get the deadbeat out, we sold all the material enough to cover all the cleaning costs. So and to the seller, that repaid James. They had to alley money to hire James' company, but by getting possession of the property, they sold the personal property that covered that expense and all the other expenses of cleaning the property up, rekeying it, all the things we had to do to sell the property. And she sold it, and we gave her a check of life-changing money that her husband, a war veteran, a war hero, much decorated, had left to her. But this deadbeat was in and holding up from his wife. And his wife was basically in a nursing home facing, I can't imagine how horrible the care was there. So it's great. I'm sympathetic to human beings, but sometimes it's not just the humans you're sympathetic to, it's the other ones they're affecting you have to be aware of as well. So that was my experience on that. Yes, so James Escovedo, close. I have it in my, has a company called the Landlord Advocates. Randa Thompson wants to contact you. So James, if you want to put your contact info in the chat box.
Yeah.
And Raina, you might want to reach out to him directly. Feel free to make that connection. But I can vouch for him. Like I said, I used his company myself as a vendor. Well, multiple times last year, but 2 times got paid in cash checks. And I'm a happy client. I'm glad to see him here. I haven't seen him on this call ever before, so I'm glad to have him.
Wow, yeah, first time. I saw your thing, so I said I'm going to jump on and say hello.
Thanks so much. Okay, so I think that's it for today, guys. If you're interested, again, if you want to reach out to me, if you're an investor, wholesaler, want to do what we're calling Gator Lending, or Pace Morby calls Gator Lending, really probate advanced work, I'd love to talk to you about getting you set up in that. If you're an agent, go to getprobate.cash. That's tomorrow at 8:30 for real estate agents. We go a little deeper on that, and we have an opportunity to join a mastermind. We do this call. This is the LA Real Estate Investing.com podcast. We do this every Tuesday, 3 p.m. and 6 Pacific time. And this is Lloyd Siegel's program that he runs in Los Angeles. Don't forget that coming up in October is his annual expo. I'm going to give you guys a quick advertisement on that. Well, first off, there's a boot camp coming up Saturday, October 29th. But before that is the LA County Expo. It's a great event, free. I don't know about you guys, but I love free events. Where is it? Where's the date on this thing? There we go. I'm going to share the screen here real quick. I'll give you guys an idea of what we're talking about. This is our sponsor, LA County Real Estate Investor Association. They do a real estate expo. We get about 50 vendor tables. I'm one of them. I live cast it. James has one. He has a staff member there. And the next one will be
22nd.
22nd of
October for the expo.
Yeah, October 22nd is the Saturday event, right?
Yeah.
Grand Expo. Yeah, so that'd be on
Yeah.
Saturday, October 22nd. I don't see the flyer here. Maybe I'm ahead of it, but great
Are you
event.
looking for the vendor expo?
Yeah.
Hold on.
The following week is the boot camp. I see that. See the rubbing elbows ahead of my podcast. I don't like that. I want to be on top of that.
Is that October 13th?
I would have thought, but I don't see it. You know,
Is
I
that
think
at the Eamon Cultural Center?
well, that's every month. That's on the second Thursday of
Yeah.
every month. But I don't know if they're having it next month because they're also having that Saturday event. I think he skips in October because he's having the big expo. We'll see. I'll stay tuned for details. I know
November
some of that-
10th would be the November one.
Oh, okay. November 10th would be November. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll remind you guys of that. And then again, any Saturday boot camp coming up. So that's our sponsor that runs this event, Lloyd Siegel. And hopefully we'll see you guys next week, Tuesdays, 3 p.m. Thank you so much, everybody.